3 at 3. So let's get into it, shall we? Bang. 3 at 3 is presented every business day at or about 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And if you want to know what it's all about, well, if you've never traded before, you could go to marketrebellion.com/get started to learn all about it. We do a considerable amount of education subscription business. If you want a coach, a mentor for stocks, options, futures, technical analysis, we've got it all at Market Rebellion. You can just go there and go to get started to see all about it. That's marketrebellion.com/get started. The disclaimer is that the information I'm about to present is for educational purposes. You guys have to decide on your own if it's appropriate for you to make any of the investments I might describe. Less barbell. Exactly, my friends. Why is that? Well, because as we saw last week, we've got a substantial amount of money flowing into the markets. It has been flowing in for months. Anybody that thinks this just started hasn't been paying attention. And that employment data last week was phenomenal in terms of showing that we've turned a corner and that America is rehiring again. We're reopening America. That's great because we need to. And I think it's, if you needed to see anything from Las Vegas or from Arizona or from Texas or from Florida or from Georgia, the states that are reopening are doing really well, and you know what? They're not overwhelming beds at hospitals. ICUs are not being overrun, and yet people are going back to work. In some of those states, according to Open Table, we're seeing numbers like 65-70% of restaurants seeing reservations again, versus states like New York, sadly, where it's under 5%. So, just offering it out there as an observation. Let's take a look at a couple of these as far as observations. Delta Airlines. We talked about this one on Thursday last week, DAL, and then, of course, those employment numbers Friday certainly helped. But today it's up another 6%. Bang! And that's $2.05, carries it to 36.21. So as you might imagine, the June 35 calls are worth a lot more than when we paid 72 cents for them. These calls that give you the right to buy it at 35 until June expiration, not this week, but the following week. Those calls are worth at least $1.22 right now, because that's the intrinsic or in the money, meaning that if I own the right to take it at 35 and it's trading 36.22, the difference between those two is $1.22. So that's the intrinsic amount. Then you've got extrinsic, which is also pretty substantial in here. These are trading for over $3. Bang. Let's hit the next one. KRE. We talked about the July 48 calls being bought in big numbers. This was just last Friday, just after the halftime ended in the afternoon. KRE, that banking index, we said, hey, look at this. The index was at 45.02 when we saw it. Where is it today? Oh, 45.70. It's up another 2.5%. Been through 46 already today. Bang! Another winner there. How about this one? Federal Express, FDX. Look at that one. End of May, the 26th, we were looking at stock at 123.70, and they were buying June 145 calls. Now, those June 145 calls are still live because they don't expire this week. They expire next week. Then, look at the middle one. The 28th of May, we saw them buying June 155 calls as the stock moved up basically $9. And then, just last Friday, we talked about FedEx June 170 calls being bought with stock at 144, another $12 higher. So how's FedEx been working out? Well, we've run the register in here pretty hard. And look at this one. 149 today, folks. 149. It's up $6.76. Bang. $4.75% return just on the stock side. Options, much better than that. Then, just to give you one more from Friday, Discovery, DISCA. The June 25 calls, they were bought for, between 40 cents and 60 cents, which is $40, since every option is 400 shares, all the way up to 60 cents, which would be $60 per option. So you could have controlled 1,000 share equivalent, paying the offer in here for $600, $60, 10 times 1,000 share equivalent. How'd that do today? Well, instead of $24.42, stock's been moving up, and those calls are $1.50 now. So if you owned them at 60 cents or $60, they're now worth $150. They've more than doubled, and I've taken off half. Bang! Because that's what we do. And look at that. Open interest, a lot of people still hanging with this one strong. Open interest is 13,700, for 13,470. And the volume today, almost 2,600 contracts. And I'm part of that. Bang! Let's get into the new meat, shall we? Because some of you are saying, okay, these are all trades you did last week, John. What about some new stuff? All right, first one of our 3 at 3 coming at you. TFC, bullish call buying, bullish put selling, I apologize. So you might ask, well, why is selling a put bullish? Well, because somebody's obligating themselves to buy the stock as it falls because they've provided insurance at that strike price. So in this case, with the stock roughly 46, they're giving somebody else the right to push or put stock into their account at 40. Now it's trading at 46 roughly. So people were paying 97 cents for these options. That's $97 each. So in other words, if the stock stays above 40 through July, and the third week in July is above 40, you keep all $97 per option. Sold 10 of them, that's $970. And all the stock had to do is stay above that $40 level, and you keep all that money. There's the stock right now, basically still at that $46 level, up 3.6% today. Bang. Let's take a look at the next one. RRC, Range Resources. Here they stepped in and bought 10,000 September 9 calls. Now they have been buying calls in here, and they've been richly rewarded. In this case, they were buying calls and selling puts. So they bought calls, so now they'll have the right to own the stock at 9. Stock's $8 today. And they gave somebody else the right to push stock into their account at the 6 strike, because those are the puts that they sold. Now they collected almost 60 cents. They paid $1.25. So, this is one of those trades where somebody with a lot of money says, I'm pretty confident of my outlook. I'm going to sell these puts. I'm going to use some of those proceeds to buy upside calls. That's somebody who thinks the stock goes considerably higher. So for instance, RRC, if I look at a 1-year graph of Range Resources, we are breaking above the 1-year highs right now. And take a look at that move today. Bang. That's a bang. Up 22% today. RRC, Range Resources, still trading for about $8.05. And as I said, even though it closed under 6 last week, under 660 last week, somebody says, you know what? I think 6 holds. I'm comfortable selling those calls. So puts rather. So they did, and they sold those puts, 10,000 of them, which is 1 million share equivalent. Bang. Last one of our 3 at 3. Take a look at Oracle. Oracle, there's bullish call buying. These options expire this Friday, the 12th of June. So you've got information embedded in every option trade, and in this case, it's somebody thinks something good's going to happen in the very short term. Now, right now, we believe that earnings aren't until next week, because the earnings do we believe, the 16th. Now, are they going to give us something before that? Maybe. Or is the stock going to pop before that? Maybe. That's why somebody bought a lot of these calls. Look at that. 1.57 million share equivalent, because 15,700 calls is 1.57 million share equivalent. So they bought those from 22 cents up to almost 60 cents today. And obviously we go through 55, those go in the money, that intrinsic that we talked about earlier. Where's the stock now? Is it still at 54.31? Nope, 54.94. So in other words, it's right up against 56 right now. And up against 55. I apologize. I said 56. It's right up against 55. These guys, the folks that were buying these calls, have the right to take it at 55. I like the trade. I'm in it. There you have it, folks. All three of our 3 at 3. Unusual call activity, unusual put selling. You want to learn more about how we do unusual option activity, go to marketrebellion.com/UOA. That's marketrebellion.com/UOA. Bang. Let's reopen America. Let's flatten the fear. Let's get out there and make sure that we still have a great country to live in and that we give folks opportunities in this country, because that's what we're all about, providing opportunities for everybody. Thank you for joining me today, folks. I hope you have a great day. I'm going to be joining a bunch of our clients for a roundtable in, about 44 minutes. If you want to join, you can also register at marketrebellion.com. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. I'll see you soon back here on Market Rebellion Television.